Man, I just heard that new Am I the Only One song by Aaron Lewis. He had a band before. I never really listened to them much. They were called Stained or something. They did a lot of that real hard rock kind of stuff and swore a lot and talked about doing drugs. I didn't really care about that too much. But man, when I heard this song, whew, it hit me right in the heart. It really did, because finally someone is telling the truth about how we all been feeling, and he actually finally said it in a song. And the lyrics just hit me so hard that I had to make a video about this. I can't, oh my god, I can't do this anymore. I can't LARP as a conservative Republican. That was gross. I feel so cringy for doing that. I'm sorry, everybody. I had to LARP as a MAGA supporter there for a second. Yeah, let me put in my homosexual lip piercing. I'll talk about the song in a second here. It was, Jesus Christ. This is even cringier than Toby Keith's "Put a Boot in Your Ass, It's the American Way." Get eyebrow ring, and now I'm a certified liberal homosexual. So I'm gonna go on. Good Lord, this song is just the most pandery, pro-nationalism, just awful cringe that I have heard in a while. And country music is pretty cringe just by itself, but God, this song is just it's just gross. So, Aaron Lewis from Stained, butt rock, new rock band of the 2000s. My brother really liked Stained growing up. I just thought the dude's voice was really bland. The music was all right, but, it's like middle of the road butt rock. Not the worst, definitely not the best. 10 years ago, he decides that, I'm old and I'm not going to write this angry butt rock anymore, which is understandable. I mean, I think a lot of new rock bands should have done that. Like, how can you still write songs about being that angry when you're like 50 years old and rich at this point? So he went country, as what happens with many artists. I don't know why country becomes the de facto music when you've reached washed up hack status, but that's just how it is. I don't make the rules. So, his country career went on mainly unnoticed until this song came out July 1st, and then it went viral. Am I the Only One? So this is basically an acoustic ballad of a very angry white Republican MAGA supporter, I should say, because I feel like Republicans and MAGA supporters are kind of two different people. For those who don't know, MAGA, Make America Great Again, those are the Donald Trump Republicans, and I think somewhere there's a small pocket of sane Republicans and conservatives. I know a few, but the MAGA people are a whole another level of crazy, and Aaron Lewis is clearly pandering to these people. This is basically an angry straight white man lamenting the loss of the perceived loss of his country. As someone like Aaron Lewis, who's been on tour and been to a bunch of different countries, you would think he would have a wider world view of issues and people and cultures, but no, he comes off just as dumb as someone who was born and raised in their hometown in the Bible Belt and never left and never even knew a gay person or talked to someone of a different race. It's kind of surprising. But then again, I do feel like this is some kind of act that he's putting on because he's in the back nine of his career and he knows he needs to make a big splash. So I'm just going to go through the lyrics of this song and just critique it for all the cringe that it is.
Am I the only one here tonight, shaking my head and thinking something ain't right?
No, Aaron Lewis, you're not the only one who is shaking your head thinking something ain't right. You know you're not the only one. You've seen the Donald Trump rallies. Hell, 5 years ago, Donald Trump won the election. So at least half the country agrees with you, and you knew that. But, you're pandering so desperately to your base that you know that everyone else who is upset about Trump losing the election, he lost the election, by the way, all the people who are upset about him losing the election, you're pandering to them, so moving on.
Am I losing my mind? Am I standing on the edge of the end of time?
Standing on the edge of time? Jesus, I know you needed a phrase that rhymed with losing my mind, but edge of time? So dramatic. I love the argument of, these are the end times, man. We're living in, the country's going to hell. Things are so bad in this country. I miss the good old days. When were the good old days in this country? When exactly, MAGA supporters, when were the good old days? When straight white men ruled everything in the mainstream and non-whites were discriminated against? Was those the good old days? You had Watergate with Nixon. You had the Vietnam War. You had all the bullshit that went on with the 80s with the stock market and all that, and then you had the 90s with Bill Clinton getting his wang sucked in the water. I mean, when were the good old days to you, in your mind? Was it like back in like the Eisenhower 50s, or like I never understood that we're at the end, man. We're at the edge of time. You know, it's like you've literally been saying that for like 100 years now. Shut the fuck up. We're not standing at the edge of time. I feel like World War II was probably the closest we've ever gotten to standing at the edge of time, and that was a bajillion years ago.
Who thinks of taking all the good we got and turning it bad?
Taking all the good we got and turning it bad. Now that's some poetry right there. Taking all the good we got and turning it bad. It's that very oversimplification that's ruining this country, literally. It's that kind of oversimplification that infects so many ignorant people, taking these complex, nuanced issues and boiling them down into this good, this bad, no in between. You're either with us or against us. It's this kind of oversimplification that keeps people from actually educating themselves on the nuances of the issues and just making blanket statements or taking some soundbite that they heard from some conservative talk show radio host or some kind of rumor that they heard from some other ignorant, uneducated person, and then just kind of passing that off and parroting that as their own narrative. And it's just false. It's a false one. So the amount of people when Obama was running for president, even my own ignorant family members, some of my ignorant family members, the amount of people who said, I just can't vote for Obama because he's a Muslim. It would have taken you literally 60 seconds to do a Google search. And yes, Google existed back when Obama was running for president, and you could have done this. And you could have easily fact-checked that Obama was not a Muslim. He went to a Christian church. He did not swear in on the Quran. And it was just that kind of ignorance that was getting peddled throughout the conservative community, and people just believed it on face value. And it's this kind of taking all the good we got and turning it bad is the same. It's that same simplistic level of thinking that has ruined ignorant people this whole time. I'm not just going to say Republicans, because God knows Democrats are guilty of it too. But, oh man, Republicans kind of got the lock on that one, though.
I think I'm turning into my old man.
Was your old man ignorant as well? Because if so, you're doing a very good job of turning into your old man.
Only one willing to bleed, but take a bullet for being free.
Aaron Lewis, you were never in the military, so no, you're not willing to take a bullet for being free. What you were willing to do, though, was to write shitty butt rock in the early 2000s, though, and my brother really liked it. You know what, fuck it. Mud Shovel was a good song. Their first album was okay. I'm just going to pretend that was a different Aaron Lewis. A less politically minded Aaron Lewis. More dumb. Well, he's actually more dumb now. I don't know. He's just dumb all around. He was so emo back then. You know, even though Stain's music wasn't considered emo, I still want to say they've got to be counted somewhat as the forefathers of emo. Because, God, as my friend said one time, Aaron Lewis is so sad he glows.
All of the red and white and the blue, burning on another statue coming down in a town near you.
Okay, so I know this point has been made on an intellectual level several times, but you do know that the statues that are being taken down were of Confederate soldiers, chiefs, officers, you know, traitors to this country who were waging a war mainly to preserve slavery, you know, the thing in which you could own a human being as property. And remember, even some slaves were whites, so, you know, that might just hit a little bit closer to home with you. It was your people as well. It wasn't just the other people. And it's not like they're taking these statues down and destroying them. They're putting them in a fucking museum where they belong instead of a public space where people are constantly reminded of a really shitty time in this country. And if you don't agree that that was a shitty time in this country, you are 100% racist. I hate saying this kind of shit because I'm not even this guy. I'm not this like uber liberal SJW. But man, when you put something out that's so just clearly like almost trolling people on the left, it turns me into this person because you're being so oversimplified in your narrative in this song that I just, when I fire back, it makes me sound way more SJW than I even am. But, you know, thanks for bringing that out in me, Aaron Lewis. By the way, that's all this shit does. You're not owning the libs with this song. You're just further making us be like, oh, thank God I'm not a MAGA supporter. Like, that's, you know, that if that's how these people think, if it's this oversimplified, then I am so, it makes you just solidify your position as the opposite of this.
Am I the only one not brainwashed?
So, like, the whole part about, am I the only one not brainwashed? Now I get, like, the whole gender politics and political correctness and cancel culture has really come to a boiling point in this country in the last few years. And that is something that I will agree that has gotten super annoying. I mean, for fuck's sake, I did a whole rant on my Rolling Stone top 500 albums of all time thing where it's just clear that Rolling Stone, which is a uber liberal magazine, is just picking the most woke virtue signaling choices that they possibly could for the artists that were in that top 500. But where I kind of divide myself from Aaron Lewis on this point is he is attacking all of this woke culture with the mindset of, I'm not even going to like try to look at the nuance of anything that people are bringing up with say like cancel culture and gender politics and political correctness. I'm not willing to like open my mind and just see for a second, well, what are they actually talking about when they want to like cancel an actor because they, you know, made these certain statements, or, you know, like allowing transgender people to use a certain bathroom. Like what's the story behind that? Like what are the people who are actually affected by this? What do they have to say? No, it's none of that. It's fuck that. I don't want to hear you. Jesus, guns, God, country. You know, like, that's, I feel like, the perspective he's coming from. For me, yes, I am annoyed by all that stuff, but I'm at least willing to, like, sit down at the table with the people who have these grievances and be like, I want to understand you. Tell me your point of view, and maybe I can understand and agree with you, or maybe I'll disagree, but I'm still open-minded enough to listen. I feel like people who listen to this song and like it are never going to be open enough to actually listen to what the other side has to say.
Sees it as it is and worries about his kids.
Pandering to conservatives who have kids, which is going to be about 90% of his base. Okay, whatever.
If you don't like it, there's a frickin' door.
Oh, God. This platitude is older than my grandmother's vagina. If you don't like it, you can get the fuck out. I mean, isn't that why we have the First Amendment? Like, so you literally have the right to not like something and disagree with it, but still stay in this country and have discourse about it or protest. All that's legal, by the way. It's covered in the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Burning the American flag is covered under the First Amendment as free speech. So if someone doesn't like it, they have the right to talk about it. Granted, you also have the right to say get the fuck out, but again, platitude. People have been using that phrase forever. Love it or leave it. It's just so outdated and hacky. But again, oversimplifying, pandering to your base. That's kind of the theme here.
Quit singing along every time they play a Springsteen song.
Now, this was a weird lyric choice, bringing up Bruce Springsteen. It seems like to me the narrative of this song, the theme of this song is like a pissed off MAGA supporting white guy who's just in his own mind ruminating about how he doesn't like where our country is going. And then all of a sudden he just throws shade on a musical icon. And I don't even like Bruce Springsteen. Like, I don't like his music, not because of his politics. I just think his music sucks. It's boring. It doesn't appeal to me at all. But, I mean, Bruce Springsteen is, he's a Democrat, but I mean, he loves America, but apparently not he doesn't love America the right way because he's a Democrat. He's supposed to love it the, gun-toting, I love Jesus way, not the, this country's great, but it's got flaws and it's got things that we need to work on kind of way. That's not the right way to like the country.
For the ones who paid with the lives they gave, God bless the USA.
Oh, God. God bless the USA! You know the crowd is gonna pop the fuck off every time he sings that line live. I mean, there's no better way to harden the boners of, MAGA supporters than bringing up two things they love the most, nationalism and Jesus. I mean, if he threw a gun reference in there, you would have had the trifecta of the MAGA orgasm. All right, that's all the song that I want to talk about. This song was just it was embarrassing, honestly. It was just pandering as all hell. I don't know, man. I don't understand how you can take something as fucking complicated as like politics and all the various issues that arise and just boil it down into these very simple points and think that that's okay and that you can explain or convey a message that's so complicated in this basic language. And that's what he tried to do. And I get that like effective songwriting is taking something complicated and boiling it down, and that's fine for like themes like love and heartbreak and depression, anger, but politics, this is just peddling ignorance. It's pandering and it's embarrassing. So now you pretty much know where I stand politically on this channel. I don't care if I lose subscribers. I mean, we can still talk about other things on any other video that I do. We can leave politics out of it. I just had to weigh in on this one. There's more videos around me that you can check out, music related. This channel is music related. This was a song. It is music, but it did get political. Sorry about that. Normally not a political guy, but just had to comment on this. So yeah, until next time, enjoy the rest of your night.